All right, so tomorrow is the day. August 15th, the Vindication Foundation's Desert Wolf 100K documentary is being released. And man, I can just tell you that this has felt like a whole whirlwind of years of filming. In reality, it was just months. But just the training, the lifestyle change, the things that it took to make the documentary. It wasn't just me running through the hill country of Texas for 100 kilometers. If it was only that, then I don't think I would have finished the race. You'll see clearly in the doc what had happened. Um, but it carried more weight to me than just crossing that finish line. And before I get into making it, the training and the lifestyle change, I want to kind of reiterate and touch base and summarize back to why I started ultra running. I said this in the last video, and I think it's worth talking about it again. But I started ultra running about a year and a half ago, and essentially I wanted it to become the backbone of my mission with the Vindication Foundation. And I want to continue to make documentaries and grow in the ultra scene. And during this training, I had lost a lot of weight. I've learned how to run. And when you talk about ultra marathon running and you ask why you do it, and the first thing, it's for me. And it's not in a selfish way or anything. It's more so that I need an outlet. I wanted to get back to something that was brutally hard, something that strips me down to nothing, to find out who I really am and what's really left of me, especially when you think you're done. And these kind of challenges, they're always strange to pull you in, but when you're in it, you know why you're doing it. And for me, it's that thing that's closest to me from to being wrongfully convicted. And I found out who I truly was the most when I was in prison, a place I was never supposed to be. So ultra running to me is tapping into something more. It's a form of therapy for me. And if you ask any other ultra runners out there that religiously run and seek out tough races, they're mostly people that experience trauma in their life. And this is a form of therapy for them to continue to move on and carry it in life, especially when you know it's not going to go away. But you can control how you respond to it, and how you disassociate yourself from it to look at it in a new lens. Secondly, it's for my foundation, it's for the mission. I wanted to get to a place where I wasn't just talking about doing something. It's cheap to just talk. And I think a lot of causes out there, they talk and talk and talk. And don't get me wrong, they do a lot of amazing things. There's so many great causes out there producing so much change in this world. But if it wasn't for me to wake up every day and continue to actually mentally, emotionally, and physically fight for my life, then the change of getting the state of Texas to admit that they did wrong and to exonerate me and give me my life back wouldn't have happened. And so I didn't want to just talk about it. I wanted to be about it. And there's no better way than to go out there and do something that absolutely sucks and that requires a lot of suffering, and be about it, especially when you know it's going to help change and it's going to help the next person not get falsely accused or not get wrongfully incarcerated. Hopefully I can carry those scars for others so they don't have to. And thirdly, I think it's more so why I want to ultra run is I'm a father now. I have a child. And when I was going through being in prison and Gabriel was sticking by my side, having a child wasn't promised for us. So we now consider Summer our prize and our miracle. And there's nothing more than what I want as a father, just to be a hero to my child. And to me, what never made sense to me, and maybe, you know, I've witnessed this more in my dad, him kind of walking the walk and being there for me as a dad when it came to sports, was how can you look at your kids in the eye and tell them to never give up if you don't actually carry that out and exercise that mindset? And Yeah, I mean, I didn't give up on the hardest part of my life, which was the nightmare of injustice. But what do I do now with my life? Do I sit down and be comfortable and allow it to be a history story in the books, or do I continue to set the standard for my children, for my child, when she goes through something hard in life? I want to continue to do this so I can be that example for her. I know my wife is the same way. She has the same mindset. When she teaches children to dance, hip hop company, it's a nationally renowned hip hop company. They go to invitationals and internationals all the time. And the way that she pours into these kids, man, I know for a fact that they're going to carry those lessons for the rest of their life. So part of me ultra running is to set that standard for my child. If I can get to the end of my life and I have a funeral and my child tells me that I'm burying my hero today, that's enough for me. That's the legacy. And so that that's a big reason why. That's the third reason why I do it. All right, so let's talk about the process now and the 12-week camp that I underwent. And I gave myself months to prepare for it, and I started small, relatively small actually. I had just now, finished 250Ks, and I was coming on to an 100K, and so this Desert Wolf, and I wanted to focus on getting mileage under my legs. That was the most important thing for me. It wasn't about speed. It wasn't about interval training or anything like that. Ultra running, where people end up falling short or DNFing, which means do not finish, is when they didn't prepare properly on racking up your weekly mileage. And so I started off small with just 35, 40 mile weeks, and then as I got closer to 3 to 2 weeks out, I started ramping it up to 60 plus mile weeks. I maintained my zone 2, zone 3 heart rate. That's really important in ultra running. You don't want to get to zone 4 where you're actually hitting your lactic threshold or you're working super hard, because that's when everything starts breaking down for you, right? Lactic acid starts building up your muscles and you start fatiguing out. And so I didn't want to get to that point. And so I figured out what my pace was in that zone 2, zone 3 heart rate training. I figured out I'm right around 10:30 pace, and so I focused on that. I pushed myself about once or twice a week, just to get my legs stronger. I did a little bit of hill work in there, but mainly when you talk about ultra training, you want to think about racking up your mileage. That's where things tend to get a little bit better for you, and you get to finish. And so I figured out in my training that I digest salt and water pretty well. I knew that as long as I stayed hydrated and I was constantly intaking water and electrolytes, that dehydration shouldn't be an issue for me. You'll figure out in the documentary, we had a little bit of hiccup with that. So when I tell you that the documentary had a lot of roadblocks, the race part, you're going to find out. That's what makes the documentary so good. But it's pretty wild how it all happened, really. Anyways, the process of it all, kind of where we were at in life at the time too. I was a new dad. I mean, Summer was born in July. I had raced this thing in September, so she was just about 3 months old. And life changed a lot for us. I mean, Gabriel and I went from being married, super deep into our businesses, to now we have a little life that we're taking care of, and we've become a family, and things just changed. I even from something as small as, now we have to think about taking care of this little baby. Before, there's been times where we took care of her more than ourselves, and that's very common in families. And it's important to take care of yourself along the process, but the part of the sacrifices is you put your child first. And Gabriel was a wonderful example of that during maternity leave. Part of the reason why I had a lot of time to train was because of Gabriel's maternity leave. I wanted to help as much as I possibly could with the stuff that I could do, which was the bottles and the dishwashing and feeding her every once in a while and changing her diaper and things like that. Things that I could contribute to. I don't have breasts, so couldn't breastfeed her, and I couldn't be that emotional comfort that newborn babies have with their mothers. And so, I did the grunt work, and I loved every bit of it. And I sometimes I miss how little she was, and me rocking her, and she was like in my arms as like a little football, and it's pretty crazy how time flies and these moments start changing. I mean, Summer's 13 months now, and she's literally, we just got her a potty, and because she's wanting to go potty now, like in the toilet. So it's wild to see just how did we get here, and she needs to slow down. But we were new parents at the time, and I was juggling that with training, and man, my whole perception on being a newborn dad was just gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. So after long runs, when I'd be out on the road for hours and I would come back home, it was actually a form of like gratitude just to sit down and feed her a bottle. And it's just this feeling of just this miraculous feeling. I can't describe it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like when you're just cuddling with your baby and there's not a care in the world at all. And maybe that's how I can describe it. But, life was lifing at the time. But I still got it in the best way I could with the training. And I think I did a pretty good job. I realized that I lost weight really fast. I had lost 15 pounds in the matter of 12 weeks. I tend to put on weight very fast, and I tend to lose it very fast, but more so put on very fast. Right now I'm cutting down. When I took a break after this last 100-miler, which was after the 100K I did, the documentary. I did a 100-miler in Utah, but I took a break for 12 weeks. I didn't document the one in Utah. It wasn't that important to me. I am going to document my next 100-miler, which is in Huntsville. It's called the Rocky Raccoon 100. There will be a special documentary about that. It's in the city that my prison unit was on, actually 2 miles away from the prison unit I was on. That's the race I'll be racing. So more on that later. I don't want to talk about it right now, but yeah. I mean, life was a lot for us, and I'm happy, looking back on it now. That camp was just crazy to think about, and how much we can actually accomplish while life is lifing. There's no excuses. I mean, you make time. I've always been a fan of the 24-hour rule. You have 24 hours in a day. Write it on a whiteboard. Account for every hour of your day, and account for every minute of your day. I promise you could fit in exercise, you can fit in nutrition, you can fit in meal prepping, you can fit in sleep, you can fit in family time, you can fit in work, you can fit in prayer, you can fit in studying, you can fit in anything as long as you account for your time. And I'm learning that in real time. I'm not perfect in no means at all in it, but I know I should be doing it. And so when things like this, where life is getting very busy, I try to account for my time more, even though I'm not very organized, but I got my wife for that. So, other than that, I talked about lifing, talked about the process of the training, and then why I run ultras. And so that's it for now, guys. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for the documentary, Desert Wolf 100. It's a very well put documentary. I'm so proud of Jacob Grail, the director and the editor of this doc. He did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of him. He's going to do more docs in the future. He does have a movie out there on Amazon Prime called Reese Enterprises. It won an award. It's an indie film he did a couple years ago, and a good film. Yeah, check it out if you can. Support Jacob. He's a great guy altogether, and he's a great kid. That's it's hard to believe he's 23, I think now, and he's got the wisdom and he's got the knowledge and he's got the faith of a 40-year-old. And maybe that's why I hang out with him. I normally don't hang out with guys that are younger than me, and so yeah, I'm super proud. I'm really excited to see where life takes him with his drive and his dedication to his skills that he's so blessed with. And so you'll see it in the doc, his craft and the way he does things, and he's just so genuine. So hope you guys enjoy the doc. Please watch it, subscribe, share, comment, like, do all of it. I'm trying to continue to grow this channel so I can do more of this full time. Get to a point where the channel is supporting the mission, the foundation. Yeah. Hope you guys stay blessed. Have a good night, and let me know what you think about the doc. God bless. And as always, onward to more life and freedom. Thanks.